Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah. I teach mindfulness and meditation. I'm also a creative and a lifelong seeker. I've always been fascinated by humans, by this human experience, by looking at the world through a different lens and wanting to find a greater sense of purpose and meaning out of this thing we call life. So welcome to this channel. With this channel and my other offerings, my intention is to inspire a new way of being, which is all about living in the moment with more ease and alignment with our true selves. I feel like authenticity is such a buzzword at the moment, and it can be really hard to discover who we truly are and to know who we authentically are, and then to have the confidence and the self-worth within ourselves to show up as that truest, most authentic expression of ourselves. And so I hope that through this channel and through my podcast and the other things that I'm offering, I can share with you some of the lessons that I'm learning on this journey of self-discovery and self-love and mindfulness and really living an intentional life. I hope that I can share some of these tools with you and to inspire you to live a more purposeful life and to really reconnect with who you are so that you can be your fullest, most authentic expression. So today I wanted to talk about the breath. I talked about it briefly in the last video that I shared on here about mindfulness and what mindfulness is, how we can practice mindfulness and incorporate it into our everyday life. And so I thought that I would share some really simple breathing techniques, because the breath or breathing is such a big part of mindfulness. And the reason being is that the breath, it not only can help us to feel more calm, to calm our nervous systems. There's been a lot of research and studies done into the power of the breath and using breath work to help us to relieve stress and to feel a greater sense of well-being and ease. But the breath is also a beautiful entry point into the present moment, because the breath is something that is a constant throughout our lives. It's with us from the moment we take our first breath until the moment that we take our last. And so it really is always there and always available to us. And the breath can really help to anchor us into this present moment, because it can give us something to focus on. And this is what I talked about in the last video, is about how mindfulness is really all about bringing our focused attention, our full awareness, our attention, our focus to the present moment. And so the breath is something that can, because it is a constant, it's always happening. We don't even have to think about breathing, it just happens, but it can give us something to focus on. It can be a really great anchor for a meditation practice, or even just a mindfulness practice of taking a few deep conscious breaths, or doing some sort of a breathing technique, which I'm going to be talking you through today, some really simple breathing techniques. So we might start off by just taking what I like to call cleansing breaths. And so how this works is we take a really nice deep inhalation, and you want to ideally breathe through the nostrils if you can, breathing in through the nose, and then releasing, letting the breath go out of the mouth if you can. If it feels more comfortable for you to breathe just through the nose and then out through the nose, that's okay as well. Ideally, we don't want to be breathing through our mouth, but sometimes it can be a bit harder if we've got a blocked nose or something. So just do whatever you're able to do today. And again, don't force yourself to do anything. Everything that I share is just options, and you just have the option to take on what's helpful and to leave the rest. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to do anything that's uncomfortable to you. Just give it a go, and if it doesn't feel right to you, then you can leave it altogether. I'm going to be sharing so many more mindfulness tools with you in my upcoming videos, so there's going to be lots of other options for you if the breath is not something that is supportive to you. So cleansing breaths, we want to inhale fully through the nostrils if we can, and then we want to hold and pause at the top. And then as we exhale, we want to fully let that go, completely let it go. And you might like to do a big sigh. This can kind of help us to release the breath and help us to also release or relieve any tension that we may be holding on to. It can help us to just kind of let go. So we'll do a couple of these now. When you're ready, you just want to inhale fully through the nostrils. Pause at the top, hold your breath, and then a big sigh, a big exhale to release. Let it all go. We'll do that again. Inhaling and exhaling. So that is what is called a cleansing breath. That's a great starting point for doing some really simple breathing techniques. The next one that I'm going to share with you is called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. And this one is really good if we are feeling anxious and overwhelmed, because what it does, we inhale for 4 counts, we then hold the breath for 7 counts, and then we exhale for 8 counts. And what this does, having this really long exhalation, this long out breath, this can help us to slow down. This can also help us to slow down our breath, and particularly focusing on the exhalation as a way to slow down can help us to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest nervous system. So this can really help us to send a clear message to our bodies that we're safe and that we're ready to slow down and to calm down. So we'll do a couple of these now, if you'd like to join me. So inhaling for 4, 2, 3, 4, holding for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhaling for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll let you do some more of those in your own time. I won't continue to do any more of those now in this time together, but yeah, this can be a really beautiful tool to help us to slow ourselves down, to slow down and calm our nervous system and activate that parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. And so I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I also just want to remind you that just taking one deep conscious breath can be really powerful and effective. It's no wonder that we say, if someone is feeling stressed or overwhelmed, take a deep breath, or take a few deep breaths, count to 10. These are all things that can naturally help us to relieve stress. The breath is our natural stress reliever, and like I said earlier, it is a constant throughout our lives, and it's an entry point into the present moment. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that this gives you a really simple tool to start practicing mindfulness and to start practicing bringing your focused attention to the breath and to the present moment. So I hope it serves you. If you would like to learn more about mindfulness, I have a 21-day mindfulness program called the Mindful Map, and I will leave that in the description box below if you'd like to sign up and do this over 21 days. You can take your time, you can go slower or at your own pace if you like, but I've just included some really helpful basic mindfulness tools and practices in that program. And I also have a podcast called Kindful, the podcast, which is where I share my journey of self-discovery, my journey of learning to live a more mindful, intentional life. I share all of the lessons that I'm learning, what I'm going through, my tools, tips, everything that I'm learning along the way I share through that podcast as well. So I'll leave everything linked below, and I'm just so grateful to have you here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. There is no one else just like you, and I'm just so grateful to have you joining me today. Sending you lots of love, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.